Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, the show that takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible.
Welcome to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. How's it going today? Hope you're having a wonderful day. How many times have you heard me say that in the beginning of an episode? Oh boy, I need to come up with a better intro. Maybe like a theme song or something. You're probably thinking, Alyssa, you're ridiculous. Okay, this is like me over-talking because I'm overtired. Wow, what an intro that was. Seriously, though, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am having a great day. I'm just a little bit overtired, but honestly, doing these podcasts always brightens my day. It wakes me up, so I'm super excited to talk today about something that I think is super important, and that's being connected with our bodies. That mind-body connection is crazy. It's crucial. A lot of the time we're in our head we just really need to be reconnected with our bodies. And I think when we can actually reconnect with our bodies, it just does wonders for so many things in our lives, like our thought process, our stress, our anxiety, overwhelming, when you feel like you're putting too much pressure on yourself. If you listen to the last episode, I talked all about putting too much pressure on yourself, like connecting back into your body. It just can make such a difference in your life and how you're feeling and your emotions, how you're dealing with things. And we don't really realize how strong the connection of our mind and bodies are. When you're overthinking in something, if you can just get up and move, it's crazy the things that happen. Okay, so that's why I want to talk today about just reconnecting with your body. Really, really making that connection. Maybe you have a really healthy relationship with your body, but maybe you don't. Maybe you have an unhealthy relationship to your body. Maybe it's because of food, or you just, you kind of neglect it. But our body is our instrument. It is literally everything for us. It protects us. It does so many things. It gets us around. It is our body is literally everything. It is our instrument, and we need to take care of it. And I think part of taking care of it is being connected to it. And you're like, what do you mean? I'm always connected to my body. You can feel your arm, you can feel your leg. Yes, I'm connected. I mean, connect on a deeper type of level. And, we don't realize that we fall out of connection to our bodies. But when we are feeling sluggish, when we're feeling run down, when we're drained, overwhelmed, we're anxious, maybe we're sore, even though we, didn't work out or, didn't do anything, super physical. Maybe we're just getting exhausted, way easier or way faster. This is probably something to do with you not being connected to your body. And especially if you have a long day and stuff, and if you sit behind if you sit at a desk behind a computer screen all day, we become so disconnected from our bodies so easily, without even realizing it. And I think we're all guilty of becoming disconnected from our bodies, but it is so crucial. And I think I think it's crucial no matter what, but especially nowadays, like, half of our lives are, like, virtual. Like, everything is on the internet. Like, you know, we're constantly on the internet for work, for school, for anything in our lives, for just socializing. Like, you know, everything is kind of social media, the internet, like, so many jobs revolving around technology, and it's just literally a part of our society, and I don't think there's anything, I don't want to say anything bad about just technology. Technology is amazing. The stuff that we can do it's so cool, but, you know, we do live a lot of our lives in the virtual world, like, on the internet, and we're honestly usually sitting down, or we're laying down, or, you know, even if we're standing, like, we're not physically moving when we're, like, so into our technology and stuff, and it's normal, and, like, it makes sense, like, these days, like, that's how it is. We are always on social media, we're always doing these things, but that's why I think it's just more important than ever to talk about being connected in your body and getting up and moving, because you're going to be living a way happier life if you're able to do that and you're not so, you know, in your head all the time, because being in your head is, frankly, extremely overwhelming, in my opinion. Like, when you're constantly in your head, like, how draining is that? You know, when you're just like, oh, I'm mentally drained, it's because your mind's going all the time. Like, you know, you're just, like, constantly thinking of the next thing to do, and, like, your to-do list is just, like, never checking off, because, like, your brain is just, like, wiring into the next thing, and it's just constant, repeat, and it's draining, it's exhausting, it can put harm onto our body, it puts harm onto us, you know, it actually distances us from our goals and the things that we want out of life. And when we are disconnected to our body, when we're feeling sluggish, when run down, drained, sore, you know, when we're getting exhausted easier than usual, a lot of the time it's due to this overthinking, you know, it's our brains becoming overwhelmed and overworked, and, you know, we just lose that connection to our bodies, and we lose the connection of being in the present moment and, like, really feeling the moment. Like, do you ever feel kind of, like, out of your body? I'm not talking, like, of an out of the body experience. I'm talking, like, you know, just distance from yourself. Like, you just don't feel you. You know, and a lot of the time I think we automatically, like, associate that, like, with our brains and our thoughts. It's like, oh, like, I don't feel me. I'm not as positive as I am, or I don't have this process as I usually do, like, this thought process. But I think a lot of it's actually, like, once we get connected with our bodies, we start to feel a little bit more of ourselves, because our body is our instrument. It's everything to us, you know. It helps us through so many different things. So we need to resync that mind and body connection to be living our life to the complete fullest. Our bodies are constantly communicating with us, physical and emotional. They're literally our instruments. You know, how many times, start counting now how many times I'm going to say that in this podcast, because literally our bodies are instruments. They are everything. We need to be connected to them so that we can be living the life to the fullest. Our body is always sending us signals. You know, we have to go to the bathroom, we're hungry, we're tired, we need rest, we're thirsty, whatever it is. Our body is constantly sending us signals. Oh, like, your right hip is really hurting, you need to sit down. Or, like, you know, you don't realize, oh, maybe I'm a little sore. Then you catch yourself and you're limping, and you're like, oh. Like, literally constantly sending us signals all the time. And a lot of the time we are too in our head, and we choose to ignore them. Or we just choose to ignore them just because we just choose to. Like, every time we do ignore these signals, you know, every time we're pushing against, you know, sleep, rest, hunger, that thirst for water, going to the washroom, we are creating more of a distance from our own bodies every single time. We are becoming more disconnected every single time that we ignore that signal our body is sending us. Our body is our instrument. Like, I'm not kidding. And, like, when it talks to you, we have to listen, and we can't ignore it. And it's, you know, we're all guilty of it. We all do it. I do it all the time. You just, like, my eyes are half closing. I'm like, no, not done yet. Like, need to finish my work. Like, you know, like, we constantly ignore our bodies, and that's just who we are. And that's why I think it's just so important to, you know, not ignore our bodies and listen to all the signals and live our life to the fullest and use our instruments properly. Because because it's just so crucial to just being connected and being less overwhelmed. And once we are more into our bodies, you're going to feel less stress. You're going to feel less overwhelmed. You're going to feel more like yourself, and you're going to feel better. And isn't that what we all want? Feeling better ourselves, living life to the extent that we should. All of that is just so important. Our bodies are sending those signals because we need those things. We need hunger. We need food. We need sleep. We need rest. We need to go to the washroom. Like, all these things. But sometimes we can second guess those signals because of so many, there's so many different factors why we second guess, like, listening to our body sometimes. Sometimes we just straight up decide to, just not listen to those signals. But then there's other times where it's kind of miscommunication from yourself and your mind to your body. When we think, like, am I really tired? Like, do I really need to fall asleep right now? Or, like, am I just mentally drained? And so we kind of, like, trick ourselves into thinking, like, nah, it's fine. I can just push that to the side. Or we just straight up ignore ourselves and we're just like, nah, I don't need sleep. Whatever. Move on. Right? There's kind of different factors to it. But we experience our life through our bodies. It's how we sense things. It's how we feel. And that's why that connection of the mind and body is just, it's huge. It's strong. It's important. So I have so much information to share with you today about connecting back to your body. I'm going to share with you some research as well that's pretty interesting that you're not going to want to miss, as well, of course, some tips and tricks to connect back to your body that you can just do in your everyday life to be conscious of, and so you have that strong body-mind connection. So you're living your life to the fullest. So stay tuned. We live in a society right now where half of our lives is virtual, which means we are constantly judging companies from their logos, from their website designs, what their Facebook pages look like. So if you yourself are an entrepreneur, a startup company, or a small business, having that perfect logo design or website design is crucial to building your business. Now, what if I told you there is a company that could help you reach 750,000 professional designers that could help you come up with a custom-made perfect logo for your company? It's called Design Crowd, and it is amazing. Since you are a Life and Happiness listener as well, you can receive up to $150 off your first design project. All you got to do is head to designcrowd.com/lifeandhappiness or enter promo code lifeandhappiness. Let Design Crowd help you make the most out of your business. Welcome back to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast. All right. Do you feel connected to your body right now? Do you feel like you are in line with everything? That you feel yourself, you feel good, you're not sluggish, you're not drained, you're not tired. Like, how do you feel right now? I think that's a huge question to ask ourselves, how am I feeling? Where am I at the moment? Do I feel connected? Some of it might be yes, some of it might be no, some of it might be I don't really know. I'm just kind of here. And that's okay too. But let's talk about really getting connected to our body so that you know the answer to that question, so that you feel 110% connected. So I was doing some research, and it is said that an American adult spends half of their day, literally 11 to 12 hours on technology with some sort of media, basically. So phone, television, computer, anything kind of like that, right? Any kind of media. The average American adult spends half their day with that media, using technology. And I think this could be accurate. I don't think this is far-fetched at all. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, technology is just in our society. It's in our lives. It's in our jobs. It's in our just socializing, everything. And, it's how we connect a lot of the time, to the outer world. And it's just a part of our lives. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think, as long as we're using it appropriately, and to the extent that we need to each person can be different, right? But think about it. Those 11 to 12 hours, we're not using our bodies for those hours. We're using our brains. We're constantly in our head that entire time. We're not using our bodies to the full capacity because we're probably sitting on a computer chair, like at a desk or on your couch or on your bed, or, maybe you're on the train or whatever you are. Like, we're not physically moving. We're not really in our bodies. We're in our heads. We're focused, right? Maybe we're typing or working, or we're just scrolling through social media. It's all in our head. We're using our brains. And we don't basically digest anything through our bodies in those 11 and 12 hours. We digest those things in our brains, right? Because we're staring at a screen. So especially if you have a job that involves technology, involves social media, emails, typing up reports, whatever it is, we all spend that time in our head and not in our bodies. And of course, we can't just cut that out. It's what we do. But that is a fact that we spend 11 to 12 hours. So just think of that, keep that number in your head of like, do I spend this much time like on media, like watching TV or like on my phone or on my computer? Like, that's a lot of time where you're just physically just still most of the time, right? And you're just in your head, you're in your brain. You're just using your brain. You're not really using your body. Now, some other research said the increase of teenagers that spend time on technology, specifically like on their smartphones, also has that there's an increase in depression and loneliness. So the teenagers that spend the most time on technology on their smartphones have an increase in depression and loneliness. But then they were also asked that if their phones make them feel more connected or distance from themselves, their peers, their environment, the world, or if it does, how does their phones make them feel? How does their technology make them feel? And 81% said that their phones make them feel connected and better. Even though it's also saying that it's increasing depression and loneliness. But this is just proving the world that we're living in right now. It's like that technology, that we're spending so much time on, can make us fall into a lonely state, into a depressive state. But then it's also making us feel connected, and it's making us feel better. And it's because, that's the world we're living in. Everyone is connecting on social media. Everyone is connecting through the internet. And I think that's awesome. It's cool to be able to connect like that. You could talk to somebody, across the world. You're listening to this podcast right now because of this technology. Like, it's amazing. It's so cool. But something that's like so cool and like that makes us feel so connected can also make us feel so alone. And what I think it really comes down to is you might feel connected to, to other things, to the world, because, you're kind of in the loop, you kind of know everything that's kind of going on, maybe on social media and with your friends, but are you connected with yourself? Are you using every single part of your instrument? And I think technology does connect us in a way, of course, like it's connecting me and you right now. You're listening to this episode, like I said, but, and, like, of course, we wouldn't be able to reach, like, the degree that we do without technology. Like, we wouldn't be able to reach people the way that we do. But it's also making us feel so disconnected and isolated at the same time. So it's like a two-way streak, and I think everyone kind of has their own opinion with this. But I just think, like, the increase in technology in our society makes us disconnect from our bodies even more. And that's just something that I think that we should kind of, it's food for thought. Think of it next time that you're really scrolling through your Instagram for the 10th time that day. What are you doing right now? Like, you're just, like, mindlessly scrolling. What is that doing for you? What is that benefiting for you? What if you just, like, got up and did some jumping jacks instead? What if you just, like, got up and just, like, moved, had a little dance party? It's not even about exercise. It's about just, like, getting up and, like, feeling and moving and, like, being connected. Like, what if you do some, like, mind, body meditation or something like that, right? Like, just, we can use our instruments or, what we've been given in such better ways than just spending all those 12 hours mindlessly or not mindlessly, so focused into, like, our technology. So that's just kind of food for thought. Think about it, think about it consciously the next time you're kind of absorbed in your technology, absorbed in your zone. Do I feel connected to my body right now? Probably not. So how can we get connected to our body from that? And I think if we're careful enough, we can kind of be conscious of that, and I think we can find that healthy balance. It's going to be different for everybody, and you gotta find that healthy balance of connection, and so that you don't feel loneliness, you don't feel disconnected, you don't feel isolated, right? You kind of want to find that happy balance, which is of course easier said than done. And I feel like if we're not careful, if we're not conscious of just simple things like just being on technology, we can easily make it a habit to stay disconnected from our bodies. We spend so much time in our head and not in our physical bodies, and we shouldn't be making a habit of being disconnected from our bodies. Technology isn't bad. Social media isn't bad. Us spending time on those things I don't think is necessarily bad. I think it's brought our society some really amazing things. But we have to be careful of what it can also do to us, or that it can contribute to just like making a habit of being disconnected from our bodies. So when we are aware of that, and we're aware of our technology, and just being conscious of, where am I spending my time, it gives us that power back to have, to be aware of that and be like, am I connected to my body? I think it comes down to just that simple question is, am I connected to my body right now? And when you're scrolling through your phone or your laptop or whatever it is, or watching the same episode of Friends for the first, for the 12th time, are you connected to your body? No, you're in your head, right? And I bet you 90% of the time when you're overwhelmed with work or school or something like that, you're all in your head. And so we got to be conscious, we got to be aware, and we have to ask ourselves, am I connected to my body right now? Or am I just all in my head? And think about it. When people talk about like your gut feeling, right? That's a feeling inside of us. That's our body sending a signal, that gut feeling. But then people compare it to, I was in my head. I was listening to my head, not my gut. And of course, your head is a part of your body, but you know what I mean. You're listening to those irrational thoughts, that overthinking, instead of listening to the signal our body is sending us, that gut feeling. And we've talked about gut feelings, listening to your instinct, listening to your gut. That is your body, your instrument sending you that signal. We have to listen to our gut. You always hear that. Listen to your gut feeling. What does your gut say? It's what is your body saying to you right now? How do you feel on the inside? Not what's up in your head, not what's all this overthinking. How do you feel on the inside? So I think taking a step back from technology, taking a step back from social media, can make that huge difference of being connected to our guts, listening to that gut instinct and not all being in our heads, It's a kind of freaky thing to think about, in my opinion. When I started researching this episode, I got super into it of finding that difference. And honestly, it made me understand more why we need to listen to our guts. Because that's literally the connection, of our body. That's why you gotta listen to your gut. That's why your gut instinct is always right. It is our beautiful instrument telling us to do something. Listen to it. Listen to your body. Listen to the signals that it's sending you. Okay, it's time for another break. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to jump right into tips on how to connect with your body or reconnect with it. Some simple things that you can do that's just going to make you feel more connected. Okay, so stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Listening to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast. All right, let's get back into it. I got tips. This whole next segment is just going to be tips on how to reconnect or be connected with your body. So buckle in, let's get going. The first one is breath work. Okay, so this can be very difficult for some people. If you're like me, that is someone, has a really hard time on slowing down. I'm like, go, 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 go. It can be extra difficult to really focus on your breath work. And I think this is such a simple answer, but I think a lot of the time we can brush off that simple answer because we're like, that's just too simple. That's not going to work. No, it works. Focus on your breath. It's like as soon as you reconnect with your breath, you actually feel better. And it's like, it's like take 10 deep breaths. No, but like literally take 10 deep breaths. It makes such a difference. And we always brush it off. It's like, yeah, I'm breathing. I'm fine. No. Slow your breath down. Take it in. You might have heard of the 4-7-8 technique, where you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. I don't know why it's really these numbers. I think it just slows you down, like it slows your breath down and your heart rate enough that you kind of can really connect back to your breath and connect back to your body. But go at the pace that feels the best for you. Don't overwhelm yourself with the counting or anything like that. But just focus on your breath work. Do that, like inhale, hold, and exhale. It's as simple as that. Don't brush off the simple things, okay? Because my next tip is more of the simple things. Or I shouldn't say, it's the simple things. Food, sleep, water, okay? It's the basics. Right? Getting healthy nutrition, like, having all those nutrients, having a balanced diet, getting enough sleep, having enough water, being hydrated. This all connects us to our body. When we're not eating properly, sleeping properly, or drinking enough water, we feel gross, correct? When you just get on a health kick and you're like, wow, I feel amazing. I have so much energy. Yes, because you're giving your body what it needs, right? And so when you feel sluggish and down, maybe you're not eating properly. Maybe you're not sleeping properly. Maybe you're super dehydrated. Go back to the basics. It's like, don't brush off your breath work and don't brush off the basics of food, sleep, and water. It's what we need to survive. So give yourself those basics back. Okay, number 3 is consuming consciously. And I don't just mean like food. I mean like purchases, media, everything that we invite into our minds, our lives, our atmospheres, we have to consume it consciously. I think that we're kind of in an era of, big companies that are bettering off the fact that, of course, we are consumers, and they tap into our consumer habits and make it so that we don't even think about it. We don't even think about the things that we're consuming, that we're digesting on a day-to-day basis through our thoughts, our minds, and everything, right? So be conscious of everything that you're consuming. And I think it can really make a difference. Tap into what you're consuming and if it aligns with you. I'm not saying that like every single time you take a sip of water, really, really be conscious of it. But I mean, like, really have a meal a day where you consciously eat that meal. You consciously, eat your salad, eat your steak, whatever it is. You can taste it, you really appreciate it. You're consciously consuming that. Or maybe if you're listening to a podcast, consciously consume the information. Maybe you're scrolling through social media even, like whatever it is, consciously consume the media that you're absorbing. And if we consume consciously, we're going to be connecting, we're sending signals throughout our body that we're consuming these things. and hopefully they're healthy things for us and we're consuming them properly. And when we are more conscious about it, though, we won't consume the things that are bad for us. We'll consume more of the healthy things that we need as well, and that's going to connect us back to our bodies. Number 4 is just close your eyes. Okay, so this sounds, once again, another simple one, but it's the simple things that work. We live our lives through the senses of sight. We tend to forget to use our other senses because, of course, you open up your eyes, it's what's in front of you. It's the first thing you're going to think of. It's the first thing you're going to go to is what you're looking at. It makes sense, but if you close your eyes, you can actually connect to your body. You have no other distraction. We're connecting to our feelings. Stretch with your eyes closed and see how much of a difference it makes. Because we get so caught up in what we're seeing, we forget to really just not see anything and just focus on the other things that are going on. How we're feeling, what we're touching, what we're smelling, what we're hearing, whatever it is, right? So just close your eyes and just do something. Stretch. I was going to say go for a walk, but don't go for a walk with your eyes closed. You know what I mean? Kind of just do something with your eyes closed. Do some meditation or something like that. Maybe listen to a podcast fully with your eyes closed. Or you could, if you really, maybe you really like watching the same Friends episode for, the 13th time now. Do it with your eyes closed. I don't know. It's a silly example. I'm just saying close your eyes and really get the sense of everything else going on, not just what you're seeing. The next one is ask yourself where you are right now. I think this kind of ties into what I've been saying of not where you are, but am I connected to my body? Ask yourself, where am I? Okay, now this kind of makes sound silly to you, but we get sucked into what we are doing and we forget about our surroundings and we forget where we are and we forget to appreciate those things. So if you're outside and it's beautiful and sunny, ask yourself where you are right now. Do you feel the breeze? Do you feel the sun? Or maybe if you're in your house, appreciate your surroundings and connect with your body because of that. Because you're being appreciative. I'm in my home. Now maybe your body's more relaxed. Or where are you right now? Are you in a crowded room? Okay, now my body's tensing up. I feel a little bit more anxious or something like that, right? Ask yourself, where are you? It's going to automatically connect you just with your body right there. Maybe you've been here before. How long ago? What was that like? How did you feel when you were there X amount of months ago? Who is important to you right now? Where are you in your spectrum of life? Not even just your physical life. Where are you in your spectrum? What's important to you? Who are you at this very moment? Where are you at this very moment? Ask yourself those questions. What am I feeling? Do a sense scan. What am I feeling, hearing, seeing? Tap back into your present moment and into your body. Now, my next one's kind of an obvious one, I think, and that's get moving. And not just exercise, but just get out of your head and get into your physical body. Even if, especially if you normally sit at your desk or your, computer most of the day, it could be as simple as when you go up to get a cup of coffee, do 3 minutes of stretching. Or if you're feeling super drained and exhausted and you're been working for so long, get up and dance for a few minutes, Get out of your head and get into your body. Move around even if you don't have time for exercise, bringing your conscious energy into your movement, into your body, your conscious energy flow, put some music on, start stretching, go for a walk, get moving. That is, I think, automatically the easiest way to get into your body is physically get moving. My next one is get naked. Now, this might seem silly to some people too, but what's a better way to get back into your body than embracing it in its most natural form? We are literally the only mammals who choose to put clothing on. I was thinking of that today. I'm when I was typing up this podcast, and I'm you know what? We are literally we choose to put clothing on. That's it. So appreciate your body and everything that it can do in its most unedited form, I guess, if you will, your most natural form. And become realistic about your body, Everything we see online is airbrushed and edited, and when we have this unrealistic expectations, and I could go on a whole about it, like a whole nother episode of unrealistic, like, body, like, I could go on for a full episode talking about unrealistic body image that we get from these airbrushed edited pictures or whatever we see on the internet. But really connect with your body by looking in the mirror and, you know, really seeing yourself for who you are. And I don't mean you need to be naked all the time. Maybe sleep naked once in a while, or walk around your house, shut the blinds and walk around your house for the morning naked. You know, learn to appreciate your real body in its natural form and not what you see online, you know, without any of that judgment. A lot of us feel ashamed of our bodies, and I think if we spend more time with ourselves in the most natural way, we can embrace our bodies, and it's powerful, and we can accept every single inch of ourselves and overcome the things that, you know, that we might not love about our body, that we might not overly love, you know. Connect with your body and wanting to take care of yourself. You know, I think if you appreciate your body more, you're going to want to take care of it more. So stop being afraid to see yourself and see your body, and, you know, and don't, you know, just be real with yourself and be real with your body and who you are, and you're going to automatically connect back to it. Do a body scan. You know, there's like a body scan meditation where you can literally scan your body all the way through and really focus on each and every part. If you're a big gym goer, you've probably heard, you know, that you got to do mind to muscle connection. You know, when you're lifting weights or you're doing an exercise, it's always mind to muscle connection to really see those results. Think of that. That's connecting back to your body. You're literally focusing. You're kind of, you know, it sounds weird because you're focusing on thinking about your muscles kind of thing, but it's connecting to your body. You're really feeling your muscles working. That mind-muscle connection. It's huge for people that are really, really big into fitness, right? It's all about that mind-muscle connection because our instruments are so important. Our bodies are so crucial to our growth. You know, our mental, our physical growth, everything about it. So you got to connect to your body. Another thing that you can do is get like a weighted blanket or a weighted pillow. This can really kind of just like, it's like putting weight on your body. If you've ever slept with a weighted blanket, it's like one of the best feelings in the entire world. Like you just kind of like, you just feel it. You know, you lay down with a weighted blanket and obviously you feel this blanket on you. And I really think it makes you kind of connect every single thing in your body. Like you feel. Try it. There's no other way to describe it than like sleep with a weighted blanket, or put, you know, a weighted thing kind of on you like that. The weighted blanket is the best way to go in my opinion. So if you do have a weighted blanket, use that, and that's a great way to automatically connect with your body as well. You know, when we're in our head too much, we aren't living life to the fullest, and some of the best things that we experience when we go through this life is through our bodies. So that's why we need to be connected to it, to be living this life to the fullest, live our happy lives. So experience every single thing that you can by connecting back into your body. If you are someone that's ever done acting, or, you know, you need to remember a speech or a presentation or something like that, it's always better to practice when you're standing up and you're moving, you get into your body, you know. It's because you got to connect all the way through. All of our emotions come out through our bodies as well, especially if you're an actor at all. You would definitely kind of hear this, where you got to get into your body, get moving, and so many different emotions arise, right? Our bodies send a signal, and we send a signal to our bodies like our mind does, right? And it's crazy the things that we do. Like if we have, you know, if we close ourselves off, if we cross our legs and cross our arms, we're not going to be feeling very well on the inside. I bet you we're feeling closed off. I bet you maybe we're feeling angry or shy or something like that, right? It's so many signals that our body sends, and so connect with it. Open yourself up, you know. Don't sit cross-legged. Don't cross your arms. Don't feel crossed off, because you're going to feel literally crossed off to what you're doing. You're going to feel disconnected. Connect to your body. Think about it. Open up. Your mind's going to open up. Everything's going to be a lot more at ease, right? It all connects. It's crazy. When you're overthinking too much, you have too much on your plate, and you're in your head, you know, you're never going to get things done properly. Get up, get moving. Next time you go grab a cup of coffee, do 3 minutes of stretching. Connect with your body. Use a weighted blanket if you have one. But there's, focus on your breath. Close your eyes. Ask yourself where you are right now. Get naked. I don't know. Go back to the basics. Food, sleep, water. Consume consciously. These are all things that can just help you get connected back to your instrument. We have to deal with our thoughts properly. We have to deal with our emotions properly. We have to deal with the things in our heads properly. The best way to process your negative thoughts or anything mentally going on that's overwhelming you is getting into your body and being connected. Move all that clutter from your head, move it all the way through and shake it out through your body. Dance around a little bit, let it all out. You're going to feel so much better. All right, that's all I have for you. I hope you kind of feel inspired to get connected with your body, maybe focus on your breath work, maybe buy a weighted blanket, I don't know. But thank you so much for listening to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. Well, you've heard me say this a million times, but seriously, I have such an amazing time sharing this information with you. Thank you so much for listening to me. As always, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like and follow us on social media, and leave a 5-star review. It is greatly appreciated. And like you've also heard me say a million times, I'm already looking forward to next time. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find the show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows. From the GSMC Podcast Network, from sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast.